Hi, this is Tim Sanders, founder of the OMNIA Radiation Balancer, and I'm honoured to have been a guest on the Journey to Truth show. Now, with phone radiation, most people think that because they can't feel anything, nothing is happening. But the reality is that this radiation is causing a lot of stress and damage in your body, and your brain doesn't register that it's happening. The likelihood is that you'll only find out about it when this continuous stress shows up in the body as disease. And this is backed up by well over 10,000 peer-reviewed studies showing that EMF causes serious diseases when they tested it on rats. The OMNIA Radiation Balancer removes this stress. It's proven to balance the blood, it brings perfect crystalline structure to water, and our kinesiology muscle tests show that the body goes super strong when you stuck it on your phone. And it works with 5G. You just order enough patches to cover every radiating device in your home and you're done. It lasts forever. But to be clear, let's not get complacent. We must all stop 5G together. So big thanks and big love to Tyler and Aaron. Click on the link below and you can quickly and permanently bring balance back to your body. Thank you.
Hey, you're listening to Journey to Truth podcast. Tonight we have on Dave Pace. Dave is from our hometown here in St. Louis. It's always nice to have a local friend here on the podcast. And Dave is a retired broadcast engineer who for the last 30 years has been investigating earth energies, ley lines, pyramid energies, exotic anti-gravity propulsion technologies, scalar waves, torsion fields, and most recently, plasma physics, which is what we're going to get into primarily this evening. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Nice to see you guys.
You too.
You too.
Been looking forward to this one. We recently sat through a presentation Dave did here in St. Louis on this plasma energy, this GANS water, and it's some mind-blowing stuff. And immediately we were like, we have to have him on a podcast.
Yeah.
So you guys both have rings, I see, and that has the Kesh plasma water energy around it. So what do you feel? You guys have these rings around your, what kind of energies do you feel coming out of your body?
Go first.
I mean, when I first put it on, I can feel it in my head mostly. It gives you like a very slight kind of lightheaded, but in a not bad way, you know?
Right.
Like not in a, you don't feel dizzy or anything. Like it just, you can feel it though, totally. And, then you kind of get used to it, after a little bit, but, I feel like I have more energy almost too.
Oh yeah.
When I wear it. Right. Yeah. Like you feel more energized. Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
that's my wake me up, you know, my pick me up. I don't need caffeine. I just put that on for like 5 or 10 minutes and I can go.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great.
Yeah, I agree. Like when I first put them on, I almost get like this tingling sensation on top of my head. And it does give you energy, definitely. At first when I had it, I was like, it said, you know, you wear it in the morning and before bed. So I was wearing it before bed, but I was realizing it was like keeping me awake. I even thought, well, maybe I'll try sleeping with it when I didn't really know.
Yeah. It's a bad idea.
But yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know what this is, we're going to let Dave explain this to you and how it works and how you can make one yourself and all of the other amazing possibilities with this GANS water.
Before that, so Tyler and I actually got these at ECETI before we ever met Dave. From a guy named Jonah Mansfield who did a presentation there last summer and was selling them, and that's where we got these there. And then we met Dave at a local St. Louis meetup and found out he was into this stuff. And we're like, whoa, that's awesome. Yeah, so we got really excited.
Definitely a synchronicity there.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Dave. So go ahead and give us the rundown. How does this stuff work and what is it?
Well, all this information, this technology came from a guy named Moran Kesh, who is a nuclear engineer, a nuclear physicist, and he's the guy that's the brains behind all of it. He's the guy who invented the plasma technology, the plasma water, and And it's just fabulous, all this information that he's giving away for free. He's giving all of the technology. You can get online. You can learn how to make this stuff yourself. He's not charging anybody. He has free webinars that you can watch weekly, and you can learn how to do all this stuff. I mean, this guy's great. That's how I got hooked on this guy, because a lot of the other people, the physicists, stuff like that, they charge money to learn how to do their individual technologies and stuff like that. Not him. He gives it all away for free. He's giving it away, for peace. So when I saw this, I started, wow, this guy's great. So I got into him about 5 years ago. I learned about him and I just got hooked. Okay. Yeah. And so everybody wants to know, well, how does the technology, how's the technology work? Well, it's a little bit complicated. But he's basically has a way to tap energy from the vacuum, what they call zero part energy. And he shows you a way that you can use a caustic solution on metal, and then you put 2 pieces of metal in a glass jar, fill it with water, and put a little salt into it, and it starts over time making this nano coat onto a metal structure. Okay, and once you get that metal coat on this structure, then you can take that and you can form another structure and make this GANs. This GANs is called gas in the atomic nanostate. And that's what gives off all the energy. That's what collects the energy from the universe, and it gives it off in micro suns, okay, little bitty tiny micro suns. And it's so powerful that when you put it in a vial like this, if you can see this vial,
yeah,
pretty small, this vial gives off constant energy. Now, you can't see the energy because it's invisible, so it's almost like a magnet. You can't see the energy coming off of a magnet, but it's there. So then what do you do with this? Well, you take this stuff, and then you can hold it up to like a glass of water or a pitcher of water, let it charge up that water overnight, and then you drink from it, and then you gain all the energy that it gives off. As the water goes down from your glass or from your pitcher, you can just fill it right back up, and you can drink over and over and over. So here's the kicker. The energy from this vial never runs out. It never runs out. So if you get a vial like this, or you make your own vials of this GANs water, you seal it and you never open it. So you never, if you would buy this from a source, you buy it one time and that's it. And you just keep using it over and over. So that's cool. People say, well, what can I do with this? Well, you can get different formulas for this. You could get a formula for CBD oil. So a lot of people like to use CBD oil these days for all kinds of different medical purposes. Aaron likes to use it. So you could buy a CBD vial one time and charge it up and drink the water, or put it in a necklace. You can make your own necklace, or all different kinds of things, So it's like, wow, that's really cool. Other things you could do is you could put it in pads. So I made these pads with just like a food, what do they call them, processes or whatever.
The vacuum seal thing?
Yeah, like a vacuum seal. And you put the energy in here, and then you put this next to your body, and you absorb the energy that way. So that's another way that you can absorb the energy. You can absorb it through these, or through a ring such as what you have, or you could put it in a spray bottle, and you could spray it on your clothes, handkerchiefs, headbands, all kinds of different things, okay? And you could absorb the energy pretty much as long as you want.
Well, you can spray it on your face too, you said, right?
You can spray it on your face. And I've done that. Some people even will put it in their rinse cycle. and it will charge your clothes.
That's awesome.
Your bed sheets. Of course, I don't know if I could have it on my bed sheet or my pillow, because the way I get the energy, it's too much, and it would keep me up all night. Everybody's a little bit different. Everybody feels the energy a little bit different. So I can't do it. Maybe somebody else can.
Now, can you explain those patches a little better? Like, so you can actually put that patch on each side, like you were saying in the presentation. If you had a knee pain, you could put it on each side of your knee and actually help alleviate some of that pain.
Exactly. So you could take a patch. Now, I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but one's slightly bigger. This one's slightly bigger than this one. And I made them that way on purpose, because the larger always feeds the smaller. Okay, so if you had a sore knee, you could take one and put it around each side of your knee and maybe tape it there or something like that, and it would alleviate the pain in your knee. Or if you had, say you had neuropathy in your wrist or in your hand, you could put one on the top of your hand and one on the bottom of your hand and tape around it. And we had one of the guys at our meeting last Monday who has neuropathy, and I let him use it. And sure enough, he said, yeah, the pain started going away. So he says, where can I get these?
Yeah.
I sold them. I made them. And he just swears by it. Matter of fact, I'm going to go see him in a couple of days and give him some more. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So there's so much you can do with this.
So that energy, it works because it just can go straight through your knee.
Exactly. The energy can go pretty much through anything. Okay. So it's definitely going to go through your tissue, your muscle, your bone, and everything. And what it's going to do, how this energy works is it actually balances your energy. So if we're sick or we're ill or we got a sore muscle or something like that, our energy's out of balance. And what this does is, over a period of time, it's going to rebalance your energy, your muscles, or whatever's ailing you, and that's what's going to be beneficial for you. So another thing, this is a product that Mr. Kesh came out with. This is called the Pain Pen, and it works similar to that, to the liquid. Only there's no liquid in this. This is just coils that is treated. And so say you had an issue with your finger, you could hold it near your finger like an inch or two away, and it will also alleviate pain in that area. Okay, it works the same way because it's this special nano-coated process where it gains energy from the vacuum, like a 0-point energy, and these fields now are emitting into your skin or your arm or your leg or whatever, and it neutralizes that.
So, man, there's so many questions. Could you take us through, because I know just from comments, just from us posting the promo for this podcast, I know a lot of people are interested in this. Can you kind of take us through a little more detailed process on like how you make it yourself, as opposed to buying the vials?
Right.
How can you just start at home?
Okay. Well, one of the caveats by making this at home, since you have to use a caustic chemical, which is NaCH. I think it's NaCH. I forgot the name of it already. Caustic, is that this gives off toxic fumes. So when you do it, you have to be outside. You have to wear a face mask, goggles, and gloves so you don't get this chemical on you, because it could hurt you. So the reason why whenever I talk to people about this, I tend to steer them towards buying it, is because it's so much easier to go and buy a vial here or a vial there from known good sources, reputable sources, than it is to maybe take a risky venture out in your garage where you might accidentally inhale this stuff or burn your eyes or your hands or something like that. It's, if you could go out and spend $30 or $40 for one vial, and then maybe get a couple of vials, you're set for life.
Exactly.
I mean, you're set. You only have to buy it one time, opposed to going to the grocery store or the pharmacist and keep buying the drug every month that you run out. It's a one-time purchase.
So yeah, you just said something that I think you assume a lot of people understand, but you said the drug or whatever it is, you can just buy it one time and essentially replicate the energy from that drug or from that food or whatever is CBD. So that is really profound, and that is amazing because so many people, I mean, CBD is expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
You could almost look at this as like a replicator in a way.
It is a replicator.
The energy of whatever you use, and then you have it infinitely.
So here's the kicker. You can replicate pretty much anything. So you can replicate food, the energy of food.
Yeah.
You can make GANs of food, which I have, and Aaron has bought this system too that has food in it, energy of food. And then once you have that energy of food stored in a vial, and you put it up to your water and you charge that water, you can drink it and always have that energy of food, or vitamins, or herbs, or anything you can, that you can think of that's beneficial for you. That's what you're going to want to make.
Yeah. So I ordered the 16 vial kit, and I've been charging water here at my house. And I mean, the ingredients in that, I mean, you name some of them. There's pink Himalayan salt, there's gold, there's silver, there's some of it I don't even really know.
CBD.
CBD. There's CBD in it, but there's plenty. And I've been drinking this charged water every day, and it has.
It's amazing. We've both been drinking.
It is, the best way to describe it is that it's making me feel it's this feeling of youthfulness. Like I'm in construction, and I have this newfound energy, and like running up the stairs as opposed to like dreading walking up the stairs. I'm just like bouncing around with it, after drinking this water for about a week or week and a half now. I'm still getting used to it. You can't drink it too late because you might not be able to sleep.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm the same way. I have a cutoff time of about 7 p.m. Then I got to stop. Otherwise, I'm up all night. With all this energy, what am I going to do with it? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's quite incredible, honestly.
So I've got a few slides that I can show to maybe help explain a little bit more about what you can do with it once you already have it.
Yeah.
Like to see it. Okay.
Absolutely.
And everybody who's listening to this, you might want to tune into the video podcast on YouTube if you don't already do that, and check out these slides because this is some awesome stuff. So
here is, as I was explaining, here is a jar of the CO2 GANs water. Now, the stuff at the bottom is the actual GANs, and it's really tiny, and that's giving off all the energy, like the energy of micro suns, into that water. So that's charging up the water, and then we take the water out of that jar and put it into our vials, that GANs water, and then that GANs water is actually making the plasma, and that plasma is the energy that we're talking about. So this and now this guy that we're looking at, this is Dr. Paul. He's a retired veterinarian, and he's the guy who has been taking a lot of the teachings from Mr. Kesh, and has been making a lot of this very good vials of GANs and products that are very beneficial. And I've learned a lot from him. Unfortunately, he's since passed away not too long ago, but his wife and kids have taken over the store, so to speak, and are running with it. Now, these are plasma rings. So this is where they take these tubes, these plastic tubes, and they fill it up with the plasma water. And you stand in this homemade area. You can stand or sit. And what it does, it's going to charge your body up, your whole entire body. And it's going to energize you and make you feel really good.
Well, it also heals in a way.
Correct? It does. Yeah. It does heal. Here's another one. This is actually James Gilliland from ECETI Ranch, and nice. He's sitting in a device, the same type of device. It's just it's constructed a little bit different.
Yeah, we saw the plasma beds while we were there.
Yeah,
that he had made. You could just lay down in it for a while, and same thing. Yeah.
Here's the one that I made. This is my wife, and right now this only has 2 rings, but I have more rings that I put on it. And the thing about it is that you can change the type of GANS water or plasma water that you have in the rings, and you can have them in there for different benefits for your body. Okay, to energize your body in different ways. And here's another version, just that someone else made. Here's one over the United Kingdom that the people over there made. So these teachings are all around the world. It's not just United States. This is everywhere. So this information's getting out, and they find that animals like this. So this cat's sitting there going, "Oh, I'm nice and calm here." So, isn't that something?
Yeah, and it can have the opposite effect. It can calm certain people down too.
Right.
It's not just, I know we were talking about how it energizes us, but I think it depends on what your body needs maybe, or I don't know how it works. But.
Well, your body only takes what it needs from this plasma energy. That's the nice thing about it. So you can't overdose on having too much plasma energy. All right. It's only going to take what it needs. So this is a little bit different than the rings. This is actually rotating reactors that's filled with plasma energy, and those 4 little white round things that are on the end of these arms rotate, and a person sits there, and they obtain plasma energy this way. So this is a little bit more advanced. Okay.
Sure.
And this is the universal enhancement system. This is the more professional body enhancement unit that the Kesh Organization Foundation makes. And they're starting to do tests with this, but with different doctors all over different countries. And it's pretty astounding.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think you showed a video in your presentation of somebody who had been using this bed. It totally turned their life around. They couldn't, I forgot the details. Maybe you could touch on that.
Well, this was studies over in China and a university, a hospital over in China rather. And this person was almost completely disabled with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And he went in this every day. And after about 4 weeks, he was up and walking. And after about 6 weeks, he was jogging. And it was just the turnaround was just tremendous, that he got over this. But he also had to get over the atrophy of his muscles, degrading. And but over time, I mean, it's just totally cured this guy. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And all you do is just sit in the bed. Nothing touches your body. That's it. These fields of energy surround your body, and that's what helps you. So plasma transfer will become the way to effectively reverse disease, both physically and emotionally. So this is a new kind of energy medicine, you would think. Now here's the plasma energy station. This is what I bought from Dr. Paul and Lynn, and I guess this is what Tyler, what you bought too? Something similar to this with all the vials?
Correct.
So what you do is you take these vials and you put them around a clear container. It could be either plastic or it could be glass. This one is plastic, but I did make sure it was BPA free, so I don't have any bad, harmful plastic things put into the water. And these vials are just taped on the outside. The water is filled up, and then with the little spout, I take from that every day. You can put it in your coffee, you can put it in your tea, you can just drink regular water, and you get energized, right? And then as the water goes down, you just fill it up. And I've been drinking it for 2 years, and the energy never runs out. That's the caveat right there. People can't wrap their head around the fact that the energy from this never runs out. It's endless because it's free energy.
Yeah.
It's tapping the energy from the vacuum. Okay.
Now,
exactly.
You can actually take this. You can just take like 1 ounce of that water and mix it with an 8 ounce. Right. Regular water, like 8 ounces of regular water, and that 1 ounce will charge that water.
Exactly. And that's what I do. I don't take a whole 8 ounce glass of this right out of the container. I take an ounce of it out. I put that ounce into a normal 8 ounce glass of water. I let it charge for 20 minutes, and then I drink that, and that's the same as drinking it right out of the tap here, because that's how it charges the entire glass of water. So it basically, just lasts forever.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So the vials never run out of energy. You can keep making more energized water from the same vials. Now, where I get this company from Dr. Paul, like I said, he was the retired veterinarian. The name of the company is Plasma Energy Solution. That is a great place to go. They have all kinds of these different kinds of vials and different kinds of products. I am not affiliated or associated with these people in any way, and I get nothing for promoting them. I'm just giving this knowledge out because I think everybody needs to know about this. We're all knowledge seekers here. We're all trying to share as much knowledge that's beneficial for people on the planet, and that's what this is about. That's why I'm so sold on this technology, is because Mr. Kesh is giving this information out for free. So there's nothing better than that. Food GANs. Food GANs is a plasma energy of food that is transferred to water that you drink and receive the same energy.
Now, how do you actually take a piece of food and actually gather or replicate those nutrients? Is there a process of?
There is a process. So you got to be a little bit more careful now. But what they basically do is they take food and they grind it up in little bitty fine pieces. So say you wanted to take an herb. You would take and you would dry it out and you grind it up in little bitty tiny pieces, and you would put it in a container, similar like I was talking about how you'd make the nano-coated copper plate.
Sure.
Only you'd put this in the bottom, and then you would cover it with this caustic. Only you want to make sure this time it's got to be a food grade caustic. Okay, so it has to be a really clean grade caustic. You put a coating of this over your food, and then you pour the hot water, bubbling water, over that. Put the cover over the container, and let it soak for a week. And
sure.
that's how you make it. Then you have the solution in some water, and then you go through the same process of cleaning and filtering the water. And now you have this water on the top that has the energy of the food.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, how does this compare to Tesla technology, because he's essentially, you're tapping into, it has to be interacting with the energy that's already in the air around us, because the energy fields. Is this similar to Tesla technology?
It is similar to Tesla's technology, because Tesla was also tapping into the vacuum to get a lot of his energy. So he wasn't so much using electromagnetic energy, which is what we're all used to. He was using a different form of energy to tap into the vacuum. Okay, so this is similar, very much similar. Lots of times they use different names. Different physicists and different engineers use different names for the same thing, where it might be the vacuum, it might be 0-point energy, it might be the source field. There's all different kinds of names for this.
Now, something that really intrigued me was you said you can use this water in your orgonite pyramids, and then you talked about plasterite. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay, so the people that know about orgonite, that you can make this orgonite out of, let's see, what is it that they use? You know what they use it? What they make that orgonite out of?
Resin and
resin,
copper,
right? Okay.
and
resin and copper. And so basically, what you're doing is you're making. Wilhelm Reich got into orgone energy. And this is kind of replicating what he was doing, where you're using these different kinds of metals, organic and non-organic material, layers of this to make this orgone energy, to attract this orgone energy. Okay, well, you can do the same thing with plaster, and there's groups out there. You can do a search on them. They also have a Facebook site called Plasterite. And they're doing the same thing, only with plaster. So the nice thing about this is now you don't have to worry about the resins and, maybe smelling the toxic fume of the resins and stuff like that. Only you're getting the same energy coming out of the plasterite as you are the orgonite. So you make forms, you make cookie cutter forms and stuff like that, and make the plaster. So I did that, but instead of using normal water, I used the plasma water to make the plaster, and I feel like it gives off more energy than normal plasterite would.
Yeah, and so plaster, it's just essentially you make it the same way. You make it into a mold like a pyramid or a puck, just like the orgonite.
Right.
Same concept. Does it do the same thing as far as like dissipating the EMF waves, the harmful radiation that's coming in?
I don't have any firsthand knowledge if orgonite or plasterite does, so I can't say definitely one way or the other. It might. I would have to wait to see if somebody else does tests on that to say one way or the other.
Yeah.
Supposedly, a lot of people have done tests on orgonite, at least, that it helps with EMFs and all that.
Yeah.
So the big question: how did you get into all this, or why did you get into all this?
Well, I've been a knowledge seeker for well over 30 years, and just keep exploring new things and seeing what's out there, and trying to get away from the mainstream narrative that we're always taught and keep getting pushed in school and in colleges and on mainstream media. And I knew there had to be more out there than what we're being told. So like you guys too, you just start looking into things, and one thing leads to another. And so I met this physicist, retired physicist, several years ago at a dowsing meeting. So, I'm sure you guys know what dowsing is, where you take a couple of rods and you can put them together, and you can find streams and you can find different things. And he's kind of the guy, he taught me quite a few things, So he had gone to school at Washington University here in St. Louis, and he started showing me about consciousness experiments. And I'm going, well, wait a minute, what is this? So, well, evidently the Princeton lab from Princeton University, they came up with this, what they call the Princeton Pear lab. And the Princeton Pear lab started doing experiments with consciousness. And one of the things they started doing was they would come out with these field generators, that would generate random event numbers, like ones and zeros, but they would be random. Okay, so they would go out at any random fluctuation, and they would put it on a computer line. Well, he brings this thing over to my house, okay, this random event generator, and he shows me the program. And he says, yeah, so what they found at the Princeton Pear lab is that people can affect this with their consciousness. So they did all kinds of studies and stuff like that, where people would just sit there and they would like either close their eyes or meditate and say, okay, I want to have this random event generator go more positive, or maybe go more negative in a graph. Okay. So he says, look, so he turns it on and it's just kind of going random up and down, up and down. So he goes up, up, up. And I watched the graph going up each time he said it. And I was like, holy cow, wait a minute. Did this really happen?
He was just saying up.
He was saying up.
And it was, wow.
And it was, now this guy was kind of psychic. So he did have some, some powers. But so then my young son comes by. And at the time he was probably about 12. And we sit him down in front of it. He says, hey, Jonathan, why don't you see if you can make this go up or down? So he did it a couple of times. Just, oh, yeah, up, 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 and there it goes. And he got bored with it real quick because he thought it was like a slow video game. Didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow, So here I learned from this guy how much consciousness plays with all kinds of things, right? And that we all are conscious beings, and we can change the outcome of all kinds of things just with our intention. Okay.
Yep.
And so they came out with now called the Global Consciousness Project that you can get online, and they have these random event generators going all over different places all over the world. And when certain things happen, they can be traumatic, bad things happen like 9/11, or good things that happen. The random event generators go crazy. Why? Because all the consciousness of the people all around the world are now focused in coherently at the same time on the same event. That's amazing. So now they're doing other tests to where, okay, we're all going to, at 3:00 Central Standard Time, we're all going to think of something loving and peaceful. And if they get enough people to do it, these random event generators start fluctuating, positive or negative, depending on how they're doing the test. And it works. So we can affect things with our consciousness.
That is why mass meditations are so crucial.
Exactly.
And that's actually, they've done scientific studies on mass meditations and proven that they actually affect the consciousness of the whole planet. Basically, crime goes down.
Exactly.
All these things that you wouldn't think have anything to do with that, they all go down. They look at like weather, they look at weekends, any factors that could have affected that, and they rule all that out, and they're like, all that's left is these mass meditations that happen. And it's proven to reduce all of that by like 72% or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know of two of these projects. One is the Global Consciousness Project. The other one, there's a book out called The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart. And this whole book is about, and she also promotes experiments similar to that, where they get groups of people and they meditate and give their intention for something positive to happen. And then they do results later on, maybe a week or two later. And, so many of them work that it's amazing. And since then, she's come out and said that she's come out with another book called The Power of Eight, where she says, all you need is 8 people. 8 people to get together to change positive outcomes for something. So you don't need the entire world to be on your side for whatever you want to intend. All you need is 8 people. And the hard part is to get everybody to agree on what you're going to talk about or what you're going to intend.
Yeah,
sure.
All right.
Now I'm going to get a little crazy here.
Oh, no.
I've heard from
look out.
It's
getting crazy.
I've heard that it's possible this is not from me. I've heard this from a whistleblower who has worked in the programs with this technology and said that in theory that if everyone on the planet could focus or meditate on changing the rotation of the earth, you could actually do it. If everyone on the planet did it. And people are probably going to be laughing at that, but it's something to think about. And somebody out there might.
That's how powerful we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
right.
Oh.
I don't know if that's possible. Maybe it is. Maybe you could slow it down a second or two. Might be a little bit easier than,
Sure.
Now you're thinking about Superman, going the opposite way and making the earth turn the other way. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying it was something I heard and it always stuck with me. Nevertheless, the mass meditations work and they are powerful.
Right.
And like you said, the more people you have doing those meditations you're all in a coherent field, essentially, the more powerful it is. Yeah.
Right. Certain people speak of the fact that the negative group out there uses media and entertainment to keep our focus off of what we're capable of doing, so that we can't. I mean, it's all about divide and conquer. If they can divide and conquer our intention, we're never going to get together and focus positively on anything. So they use media and movies and all kinds of entertainment to keep us channeled away in other places.
Well, they also use it in the negative way. So what is the news always putting out? Fear, all these negative things.
Right.
Lack, scarcity, fear. But they're putting it out, and by us paying attention to it and being afraid or like accepting that as the reality, we're helping to manifest that instead of what we truly would want to manifest. So,
but almost like subconsciously.
But people are unconscious to the fact that that's what's happening. So as soon as that's why it's so important for people to start waking up, because as soon as enough of us wake up and realize we're the ones creating this reality, we don't have to accept these things that they're trying to get us to manifest. Suddenly it's game over and we can manifest whatever we want to create.
You're absolutely right. Yep. You're absolutely right. Right on the right track. So there's another, now I'm on the consciousness kick. There's another physicist. See, I'm using more science to intermingle consciousness, that they're doing these experiments to prove that our consciousness can play a role in how things work and how we can change things. There's another physicist called Dr. William Tiller out of Stanford University, and he came out with a book called Conscious Acts of Creation. And they do several studies in here. And one of the studies they do where they take a container and they have one or several people use their intention to focus their intention on just say some water that's in the container. Okay. Now, what they can do is they can change the pH level, which is the acid alkaline level that's in the water, just by using their intention. So, and they don't even have to be in the same room as the container. They could be as far as 3,000 miles away. So, one could be in the East Coast and one could be in the West Coast. And this group of people with their intention can intend for this water to change its pH level, and it does. And then they found that if they, over the course of a couple of days or a week, if they kept their intention on this water, they didn't have to do it anymore. So that the space would retain that intention. Okay, so the space, they could dump the water out and fill it up with new water, not do the intention experiment anymore, but the pH level would still change on its own because their intention on that space stayed with the space.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
And then they did experiments with fruit flies using their intention, and they were able to increase the ATP-ADP ratios in developing fruit fly larvae. So they're doing, chemical changes now with their intention, and you're going, holy cow. So there's scientific studies that are being done out there, which is kind of like it's almost like it's remote viewing where they can remote view their intention to go to inside the Great Pyramid, even though they're here in the United States, and they can go and they can see the inside of a building or a place over in Russia and come back and say, yeah, they have silos here and they have missiles here, and they can do that. And the government's been doing that for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So have the Russians. So it's amazing what you can do just with your consciousness.
And you already said it earlier, the whole purpose of the distract and divert is to keep us from discovering and tapping into that potential capability.
What I've found, I've tried to get other people in groups and meetings to try some conscious intention experiments. It's really hard to get everybody to agree on what they want to do. Everybody starts going, oh, I want to do this, well, I want to do that. You can't get everybody to agree on one focus, one coherent moment. So
yeah, that's interesting. I can see where that would be a problem, but also like with these mass meditations, I think if you keep it general enough, you can everybody
if
get
it's
on
something
board.
That's pretty much everyone can agree on, like world peace or ending poverty or stuff that we pretty much all want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that's where it gets easier.
I would love to do that sometime at the meeting that you guys and I go to once a month. If we could get a group of people that would say we could agree on one thing and just see if we could have a positive outcome on something, and kind of make our own little test program.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, totally.
Let's do it. I don't even think it's a matter of even the dog wants to do it.
Yeah, even the dog's happy about that. Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah, do it.
Well, the dogs are psychic anyway, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh,
so so with this water, it's totally awesome. I was going to ask you something else. I can't remember now. Aaron, take over.
Well, let me while you're thinking about it, let me show you something that's kind of cool.
Okay.
So, the way that things are going these days with viruses being in all the news and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
what if you could use plasma energy to balance viruses?
Yeah, there you go.
So
it's
you
coronavirus.
As opposed to a vaccine?
You can.
Yeah.
You can balance viruses, and this site that you could go to that I've got listed, there's a 20-minute video on here by Mr. Kesh who shows you that you can take a glass of water, take a couple of wires, nanocoat your own wire. You only have to nanocoat one wire, and you do that with an easy way, not with a chemical process, but with a blowtorch. Add some water and some salt. You're going to make your own GANs right on your. You can do this in your kitchen, and it won't hurt you. And then start drinking that water, and it will eliminate viruses.
Wow.
There you go.
Any virus.
Just that simple.
It's that simple. So here's a guy, who's not charging anybody for any of this stuff. He's giving it all away for free, just for peace. That's all he wants is peace on the planet.
I remember what I was going to say now, which kind of coincides with exactly what you just said, as far as I think that I asked you the same question, or somebody asked you the question at the meeting, at your presentation, how you got into it. And you said, because I was supposed to.
Yes. And
the way you answered that question was beautiful, because it's true. It came to you because it was supposed to. That's part of your path. And whoever, your guides, whoever knew that you were going to be able to relay this message because you can understand it because of your background. You can understand the science behind it as to where this stuff goes over my head.
Well, I definitely believe in that. It came to me at a time in my life when I was ready, because if I would have been younger, I wouldn't have been ready for it. And it's not so much having a technical ability to understand it. It's just more being open-minded enough to understand that this stuff works and it's real. The biggest problem I have with, close friends, family, relatives, trying to open their minds and try just looking at some of this, and they won't, is because they're so close-minded. They're not bad people. It's just they're closed-minded. They're not ready for it for whatever reason. And so all you can do is put this information out to people and hope that they'll at least try it or look into it, do their own studies, and go there. But yeah, absolutely right. You got to be ready for it. Just like you guys were ready for it because you're open-minded about new things and new technologies. Maybe some of the people that are out there watching this presentation might be into it, might be interested, and I hope at least they would go to some of these sites like Plasma Energy Solution and read the testimonials. Okay, don't go by anything that I tell you. Do your own research, read the testimonials, and you'll start seeing all the people that are trying this, and it's helping them with this, it's helping them with that, it's helping them with cataracts, it's helping their kidneys, it's helping, all of these things. Yeah. Thyroids. Yeah. Then go on the Kesh website and go to the testimonials, and there's thousands of testimonials. And, this stuff is also, we didn't talk about, this stuff is also good for agriculture. So you can take this plasma energy water, start spraying it on your plants, start irrigating it on your plants, taking these rings like what you have around your neck and putting them around the tree trunks and the plant trunks. And grapevines start growing bigger, and figs start growing 30% bigger, and apples and everything. And it's just amazing that you can use it for so many different things.
We actually kind of saw that firsthand at ECETI, actually. They had a tree that was like a dead apple tree, I think.
Pear tree.
Or pear tree. there was literally like completely dead. I think he said there was like 2 pairs left on it.
Right.
Put a ring around it. I don't know how many days after.
Matter of days.
I think in just a few days, they said, started growing all kinds of pairs and came completely back to life.
And that's something.
And then they I forget if it was that one or another one, but like they literally saw exactly where the field ended, because where there was another like dead plant, like half of it was came back to life and the other half stayed dead, because that was like that was right. Where the field ended right there.
Literally half of the tree or plant was living and the other half wasn't.
It's like how much more proof?
So they were able to actually measure the field that way. And a friend of mine also, after she bought one of these rings, she took it home and put it around a dead cactus that she hadn't gotten around to throwing out yet. Mm-hmm. And she just wanted to see what would happen. And overnight, it started growing again, and in a matter of days, it just took off, and it's a living plant again. Wow. And it really works.
The cat that he said
you tell me about the cat.
Yeah, they put a ring around its neck and it started running all over the place and it was like a kitten again, basically. Yeah.
So this is this is a new type of energy medicine where you don't have to give anybody a drug now. You can just put this energy close to them or drink it, and it's going to balance their energy and make them whole again. That's what it's all about, making this whole again,
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's so cheap. Like, you can make it yourself, or you can get on these websites and buy like a vial at a time for about, $30 or $40, or you can go in with your friends and neighbors and buy it and share it. And because it never runs out, you can just give me another gallon of this stuff, and go over to your friend, here, have a gallon for free, and start giving it away to your friends,
Yeah. We're already
doing that. Yeah. His dad has been coming over to pick up a jug of it.
We're only not even 2 weeks into the process, but it's already immediate results. Literally immediate. I had noticed it. Even when you had us try the water at the presentation, like after a couple drinks, I can almost, it's funny. I feel it in my brain somehow. Like
right.
It's almost like you can feel it affecting just everything in your body. It's like restructuring you.
Yeah, there's other ways to be beneficial from the energy. Is I showed in my presentation, a slide presentation, where you can take a clear tube and coil it up in a large jar, okay, and then fill that jar up with plasma energy, and then the tubes are going to be sticking out of the jar, and they're not going to be touching the water, just the outside of the tubes. So what happens is the energy from the water energizes the air that's in the tube. So now you can take the tube and just start breathing the tube, and now you're going to get plasma energy into your lungs, okay? It's going to go into your lungs, come up through your nasal passages, which are now close to your brain. So now you're getting energy in next to your brain, your throat, and your lungs, okay? So now you're energizing that part of your body. So imagine if you're breathing it while standing or sitting in one of those beds or tubes like I showed, okay? Now you're getting it 2 different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really getting a lot of beneficial energy. And like I said, it's not going to hurt you because your body's only going to absorb or take what it needs. All right.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's like breakthrough technology.
This is the definition of revolutionary technology.
Yeah. It is. It's revolutionary. So even though I've studied over the years lots of different people, and lots of different physicists and technologies, this by far is the best because it just solves and answers so many questions and problems that I've toyed over over the years, but it's free.
Yeah.
He's giving it away for free. The technology. And like I said, you can get on the Kesh website, and there are weekly videos, public teachings, free, and you can learn this stuff. He's already up to like 320 sessions. So there's already like 5 years of videos that are out there that you can watch if you so desire.
That's incredible.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
Thank you.
Relaying this information, sharing it. We can't be selfish with this stuff. Like you said, anyone can take this stuff, make it, and try and sell it and make a buck, but it's not about that.
Right.
And that's why it resonated. It's free, and it's free energy. That's what we're striving for with disclosure. Everything. This can be applied in so many ways. Imagine if the right minds got on this, which probably has already happened. It has already happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Just imagine the capabilities that it could just change the whole planet. And
right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're all on a journey to truth, and that's what this is about.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for coming on.
Okay.
Is there any way, I know you kind of like to stay incognito as far as social media goes. You don't have to give out any information as far as if you wanted to help anybody learn how to do this stuff. Are you interested in doing something like that? Or
locally, maybe,
Sure.
Locally.
Okay.
But might be ways that we can share information other ways, but they can always get a hold of you guys, and you guys can get a hold of me.
There you go. Yeah, awesome. We won't give out your information then.
Okay.
Yeah. You just send me your address whenever we're done.
Yeah. His phone number is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you learned something, because I know even the second time around, I learned even more tonight. It's might seem a little complicated, but it really works. I'm living proof.
Making it is complicated.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
If you have the GANs vials, it's
sure
super simple.
Correct. Correct.
So
anyway, good night, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Good night, everyone.
So what you do is you would take a real thin, flat piece of copper, okay? You would take that piece of copper and you would put it in like a container that might be raised off the bottom of the container, maybe half an inch or an inch, okay, on maybe some screen just to keep it off. And then you would put a whole coating of this caustic material, which is basically like liquid Drano caustic, on the bottom. And then you would take like maybe a quart or a half gallon of boiling hot water, okay? And you're going to pour this in this container. But before you do that, you're going to take the top lid and you're going to put it almost all the way on the top, with just enough to where you can pour the water in. So now you pour the water in real fast, and it's going to start bubbling up, and the steam's going to start coming out and everything else, and you're going to want to close the lid as fast as you can, okay? Now you're going to leave it sit for a week, okay? A whole week. And what that does is that is going to start forming these little super tiny black looking dots all over the metal, okay? Now this is called monoatomic system, where the atoms get rearranged different than what's actually in the metal. The atoms on top are going to get built up in a crystalline structure, okay? That crystalline structure is what helps the energy come from the vacuum and go through into the area the surface area of the metal, okay? So that's the first process. Now, after about a week, you open this up and you see if it looks like it's really coated real nicely on both sides. You can usually tell because it'll be pretty much black all over the place. If there's any places that aren't totally covered, you might want to go through the process again. Sometimes it might take a couple of times for you to do this. Once you get a good plate nano-coated, okay, and you're not going to want to touch it, other than maybe the sides to hold it, because you don't want to crush any of the nano coatings, because there's as many as 10,000 layers of nano coating on this. Now, nano means that it's a billionth of a meter wide. So, I mean, nano is super, super tiny, right? So there's 10,000 layers, as many as 10,000 layers on the surface of this metal. So you don't want to touch it. You don't want to crush it down. So the next step, after you have a good nano-coated piece of metal, is you want to take a voltmeter, a simple voltmeter, and go across it several times like this to discharge the metal, okay? Real simple. I mean, it's going to be a low voltage. You're not going to be hurt when you touch it. You take the leads of your voltmeter and you go like this several times and you kind of discharge it. Now the metal is ready to go to the next step, which is where you're going to make the GANs, okay? So now you take this metal and you're going to maybe hang it into, let's say, like a glass jar or a glass beaker, okay? You're going to hang it on one side, and on the other side, you're going to take a small strip about the same size of zinc, and you're going to hang it. Now you're going to fill the beaker or the glass about 3/4 of the way full with water, and you're going to put a little salt in there, okay? Now, once you have that in there, you're going to take these two pieces of metal, and you're going to tie them together with a piece of wire. Okay, any kind of wire will work. Now you leave it sit. And over the course of a couple of days, this solution is going to start forming at the bottom. It's going to start looking white, a very white solution. It's going to start forming at the bottom. And what that is super tiny micro nanoparticles, only this is called GANs. Now, this is gas in the atomic nano state. So this is actually CO2, only it's CO2 at room temperature. So how can a gas be in room temperature? Okay, but that's what this is. This is a gas that's in room temperature. So once it's made a lot of this white substance at the bottom, you can take the plates out. You can still reuse the plates and make more, but take the plates out, and now you have this solution, white solution at the bottom and water at the top, okay? So you're going to want to rinse this a couple of times. So how would you do that? Well, you could drain the water off the top by dumping some of it out, or taking a large plastic syringe and taking the water out, and then putting fresh water in, let it sit for a day, and then drain it again. Do that a couple of times. And so that's a way of washing the GANs, okay? You're basically washing the salt out of the water, out of the GANs. So maybe by the second or third time, now the water that's on the top is the water that we're going to use for everything that we're going to make, okay? So now the water that's on the top, you can scoop out some of that and then put it in a vial, okay? So what we did with that, with what I just told you, is we made CO2, okay?
Sure.
So we made CO2, so that's one of the four main GANSes. There's four main GANSes, and then there's thousands of other different kinds of GANSes you can make.
So when you said, you can make it at home,
Yes.
I'm thinking I could just like take some stuff out of the kitchen and, you know, whip it up, and it's actually fairly complicated. It sounds like it is.
It is, especially making the nano-coated plate. That's the hard part. If you already have the nano-coated plate and then you get a piece of zinc, which you can take off, take a battery apart, and the outside the outside metal of the battery is made of zinc. Now making the GANs is easy because you already have the nano-coated plate.
I got you.